Bear with me. Bear with me. Please bear with me. Just bear with me. Because all you have to do is bear with me. That is right. Fuck. Okay, so where are we? What am I doing? How have I been over the last day? So yesterday was my first admittance. First time I admit that I had a binge eating disorder, that I have a binge eating disorder. It was quite difficult. The conversations with my parents were not that bad. Saying it to my dad was quite difficult. I guess I had the apprehension of them not accepting me or them telling me that I haven't and that just not to worry, but they were very sympathetic and empathetic, understanding. I do beat myself up. My dad said, look at what you've done. You're not an average guy. You're a great man, which was nice to hear. He said, you cycled 4,500 kilometres over Europe, on your own, mostly. But, who's done that? You've got a binge eating disorder, but you've recognised it. You're aware of it, and I believe you've got the strength to overcome it. And I agree. It was nice to hear that. And my mum and I guess I didn't realise that both my parents have kind of got problems with food as well. It's quite obvious because they're both overweight. Mum is probably obese. Dad's probably obese, but he's got a lot of muscle. And yeah, Dad said he secret eats. I didn't even know that because it's secret. Mum says she secret eats. Yeah, I've got alcoholics in my family, so there may be some genetic predisposition to being, to addiction. And I mean that, I'm not shirking from responsibility again, but maybe that's something to do with it, just having that. Yeah, but I don't know how that works. I'm not going to go into that because I have little confidence that it's anything really genetic. Anyway, mainly childhood conditioning and whatever else. So yeah, point is, the way I'm attacking this binge eating disorder is by just saying, fuck it, eat what I want, when I want. So now I've just had porridge and I had cheese on toast. Slice of cheese on toast and some dates. I haven't had a date in a while. It's been a long time since I've had a date. I just had loads of dates. Yeah, I'm not feeling bad. We watched The Lighthouse, which is a good film, very, very well acted, gripping considering how simple it was, at the same time complicated because it deals with psychology and the human condition. But yeah, I was feeling hungry. I don't know what I've eaten today. I think I had some apples, porridge, an orange, popcorn, some biscuits, and yeah, so plenty of snacking, but nothing of sustenance. So I had porridge. I felt good. I feel full now. I don't feel bad. So I'm just saying, eat what I want, because I realise that when I put a load of constraints on what I can eat, I'm much more likely to just binge. Because I'm like, I shouldn't eat it, so then I'll just say, fuck it, I'll eat, and I'll feel bad, then I'll feel shame and not want anyone to see me, so I'll eat more because I feel bad. Today, I've had these urges, these anxieties, and I felt like eating, and I felt like, okay, yeah, well, you can eat, because usually I'll have an anxiety, and I'll feel like I want to eat, I want to run away from this pain, this anxiety, and I'll be like, no, but you can't eat. You shouldn't eat. It's not the time for you to eat. You've had too many calories today. You can't eat that because it's unhealthy. I'm like, I put all these restraints. That makes me feel a load more anxious. Completely exponentially increases my anxiety. then I'll just go scoff my face. Today I just realised when I had these anxieties, I was like, wait, I can eat what I want. Like, I had porridge, and I ate it, and I didn't really feel like having a shit ton of peanut butter I bought. I've had some dates I could have gone through the whole ½ kilogram, but I've just had a couple of handfuls, and now I feel like I don't really want any more. So it's better. It's an improvement already. I'm not going to be naive. It's going to take months, years, but for once I feel like I might have glimpsed a light, you know, something positive in regard to growing out, shedding this disorder. Let's talk about Black Lives Matter, shall we? Look, I don't think it's right or wrong that you go to protests. Okay, there's someone in the kitchen and I feel super like self-conscious because I've got a light shining on my face. So yeah, I don't really know what to say because I'm quite self-aware that somebody could open the door or look out the window and see me and judge me, or come out and say, look what you're doing, and I'll be like, fuck. Okay, train of thought. Right, yeah, Black Lives Matter. So the guy who got killed, George Floyd, who kind of sparked this, you know, even though it might have been inevitable. He was on fentanyl and methamphetamine. He was committing a crime, potentially, purportedly, committing a crime using a fake $20 bill to pay for something. He's had a history of crime, 5 years in prison. He was apparently the leader of some crime group, and he was apparently he went to prison for doing a home invasion. He pointed a gun at a pregnant lady's womb, apparently, to threaten her to get to move the fuck out of the way or move into one of the other rooms in the house while he robbed the place. And I don't think he should be deified. I think he should be remembered as a symbol of police brutality, but he should not be deified and heralded as somebody great, because I don't think he was, from what I've read on him, you know, the good and the bad, or I don't know what good there was, other than he was a gentle giant and a family man, apparently. It sounds like a lot of rhetoric. He's just a symbol of police brutality. I don't think he was good. I think, you know, in terms of going to protests and putting a black picture on your Instagram, like, what are you doing? What the fuck? What? I mean, protests are more active. You all put more effort in to making a noise, but just pasting a black thing on black nothing, just black, on your Instagram feed, and then maybe putting on your Instagram story loads of fucking quotes and loads of strong black people and links to this and that, like, just virtue signalling, showing that you're in agreement with, you know, what's right. A load of shit. That's what it is. And I just lose respect for people who I just think, oh, another sheep, you know. When I see them pasting their social media feeds with Black Lives Matter this and Black Lives Matter that, and poor people, and, you know, even, what's the word, just having a go at people, you know, they're like, yeah, like, silence is violence or something, whatever the fuck, their white silence is violence, and they're fucking making, and they're putting that on their Instagram feed. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, do you know enough about this situation to have a informed opinion, or are you just fucking following along the slurry of the masses? So yeah, I don't really have a massive opinion on it myself. I think protests are fucking complicated things, because I think there are political agendas involved, and I think, for example, that George Soros guy is one example I know too little about to have an informed opinion on. But didn't he? I heard something about he injected a load of money into Black Lives Matter because he hoped they'd use it to self-destruct essentially, and protests might be, egged on by the opposition because they want the protesters to get violent, so they're again imploding, self-destructing. And like, if I go to protest, like what I'm actually protesting for, Black Lives Matter, like to stop police brutality against black people. But then, like, for example, I could get every, what I'd like to do, an ideal hypothesis. So a hypothesis, if I had every black person crime, or every black person arrest, and every white person arrest, and I compared them all, what is the percentage, difference in brutality, being brutalized, and then for those cases that have, happen to have brutality in them, in the arrests in which police brutality occurs, how much of that brutality is warranted. Are black people more aggressive toward police? Do they shout more and flail their arms and resist more? Which could quite, warrant, some brutalizing, some beating, get the fuck on the floor. Or, if you're trying to arrest someone and they're fucking flailing their arms, punching you, trying to grab at their pockets, then fucking smack the shit out of them and get them on the floor. That's what or just smack them and get them on the floor. Whatever. But I still imagine that there is some disparity, because how many white people have been suffocated? Is that a word? How many white people have had their neck kneed on, stamped on? They've been killed. Probably not as many as black people. So I think there's a problem, but I just think it's potentially greatly exacerbated by the media. And one point to make is how victimhood potentially. My dad used this point, which is made me think. How the Jews were suffered gross misconduct by the Nazis, and that's an understatement. But now they are in Jerusalem. I'm pretty sure they're pushing out the Muslims and treating them like absolute shit throughout Palestine/Israel. I'm pretty sure there's some big fuck-uppery between the Jews, from the Jews to the Muslims. Potentially that's some victimhood, woe is us, we got treated like shit, so we're gonna... I'm making some claims here, but I'm just putting forth possibilities, Same with black people, they've been oppressed, slave trade, and I'm not saying they're fucking using the victimhood to get one-uppery, but everyone loves an underdog or a victim, and it's possible that it's been taken out of context or amplified because of black history. And I think black people can potentially use their past oppression or current oppression as a means of gaining a foot on the oppressors. But look at George Floyd, he's not gaining a foot on the oppressors. No, he's not. No, that's fucked up. And I'm not saying it isn't fucked up. I'm just saying the reaction, the response, basically COVID now, coronavirus is like a non-issue. It doesn't exist, it's gone because of Black Lives Matter protests, which is a reflection on the media. I think I'll stop that rant there. But basically critically think, don't just follow the herd, follow the masses. If you're going to read a Black Lives Matter, if you're going to watch a Black Lives Matter post, watch one which is against Black Lives Matter, potentially, preferably by a black person, because there are black people who have done anti-Black Lives Matter posts, like the Hodge twins, for example, but there have been others. That's just one that I saw recently. Yeah, that's that. I'll probably eat a bit more before I go to bed. Just have a couple of dates, a bit of peanut butter maybe, not scoff, just just show myself that, I don't know, I've got a desire, so I'm just going to act on it, but not go overboard, because otherwise as I do, I repress it, then it blows up. I don't know how long this rant's been. How long has it been? No, not too bad. Right, goodbye. This is my garden area, by the way, in Melbourne. Yeah, nothing spectacular at all.